welcome back to Intro to Personal Brand Week 2. If you've been here from the beginning, yes. Anyways, today we're going to talk about why exactly you should be using personal branding, because what happens when you don't. So we're going to deep dive into exactly why you need to be having personal branding within your content now that you actually understand personal branding. When you want to incorporate personal branding within your content, over time, your audience is going to understand what you like, what you don't like, and that's how you build community. People that want to watch your content, your videos, people that are consistently watching your content, not just see your video for the first time, think it's cool, they like, they share it, maybe that video goes viral, and then we never see or hear about you ever again. When your sole focus is to go viral, this is exactly what happens. Two things can happen here. Your video finally goes viral, right? And then you have all these shares, these likes, these comments, you're sharing and everybody's sharing and everybody likes your video, and you think that you finally got to your end goal because you went from 10K to 50K and you're like, oh my gosh, it's my time. I knew my time was coming. But here is exactly what happens, because two things can happen here. Number one, they come across your video, that viral video, they share it with their friends and everything. They look at your content and look at your profile and they're like, don't really like their content, but I mean, this video is pretty good, so I'm just gonna share it with my friends. But I don't really like their content because it's just like random stuff, because there's no personal branding. So therefore, there's no reason to interact because that was the only video that actually caught their eye. And number two, they come across this video, they comment, share all the things, they go to your profile and they follow you because they're just like, oh, I want to see more content like this. And then over time, they start to notice content, random content that you're posting, and they're just like, let me go back to the profile and unfollow because this is not why I followed from the beginning. Because a lot of people sometimes follow you because of that viral video because they're hoping that you're going to create more content like that. And sometimes you do not want to create content like that. And now you're putting yourself in a box where people are expecting this type of content, but maybe that's not the content that you want to create. So instead, when you incorporate personal branding, you have more leeway, more flow to basically create whatever you want, because people are not here for the content, they're here for you. Exactly. So let's talk about an example. We all know Jules, and if you don't know who Jules is, she is the one that created a very demure, very mindful, very classy, very chichi out. So she was someone that created that trend, and that trend went mega viral. Everybody loved it, everybody was using it, and everybody was incorporating it in their content. Now, while that video did go viral, it did give her even a bigger of a following because she already was incorporating personal brand even before that trend went viral. She was able to still have her current audience and more, and people still continue to follow her, and she hasn't lost the following that she gained, and people actually loved her. People like started to get to know her. People started to actually love everything that she was doing because she was sharing more about herself. It just felt so connected to her. And this is what happens when you incorporate personal brand. When you incorporate personal brand, it is so much easier to hold your audience and to gain more when a video does go viral, because trust me, one of your videos will go viral at some point, and you want to make sure you are ready for that. If you want to hold that community and you want to gain more of a community of people that actually want to enjoy your content. When you don't have a personal branding, what ends up happening is that people get to know you because of your trend, or people get to know you for a little bit, and then we don't really hear much about you, or we hear about you here and there, and maybe you've lost some of your community, and maybe you start really well, but then we don't really get to know you anymore. People start unfollowing you, or like people forgot about you. For example, we don't really hear too much about Bobby, the one that incorporated Drake in one of her first interview. We don't really hear much about her anymore, although she's like having a lot of interviews with these A-list celebrities, but we just don't hear about her anymore that much because she didn't really incorporate her personal brand. And although it is an interview where she's interviewing other people, we just don't really know her like that. And that's something that she should have worked on. She came out of the blue and started interviewing people, and everybody was like, who is this girl? Who is this girl? And I feel like that's one of the biggest mistakes that her PR team or her marketing team created, or maybe she just didn't know because nobody knew who she was. And that was one of the things that I feel like they should have worked on harder. That would have led us following her, keeping up with everything, instead of just like watching that one Drake interview and then the second and then the third, and then kind of just like not watching her content anymore and forgetting about her. Another example is Pookie Nation, the guy that was like, I thought that trend was really cool. Content is still doing pretty okay, but the reason why we don't hear about him anymore is because a lot of the people followed him because of that trend, but we didn't really know too much about him, and people just followed him because of his trend. And if he incorporated his personal branding, he would have kept his community, which he still has. He still has a huge community, but he also would have gained more of a community, and people would want to get to know him more, or want to watch his content more. So it's not that these content creators like fell off. When you incorporate your personal branding, you keep that community, you keep those people. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, personal branding is super important and should be prioritized. Doesn't matter if you have a business or if you're a content creator, you still have to incorporate it. So for our discussion board today, I want us to be completely honest. Accountability is the best thing we can do for ourselves. How consistent are you in incorporating your brand? Do you even think that you're incorporating your brand? Or do you think that you're not? Or do you think that you are? I really want us to really talk about how consistent do you think that you are incorporating your personal branding? Now be honest. If you don't, or maybe you think you are, but maybe you're not, it's okay. Be honest. Let us know in the comments and discuss with people. It's always really good to have conversations because we're here for the community.